What's up, Internet? It is time. It's time. My name's Nerdy.
And I'm Clarus.
Let's spoil Black Widow. Spoiler alert. If you haven't seen the movie, don't watch this. We're going to talk about things that you would want to find out later.
Spoilers.
We got Nerdy Nightly.
We thought we'd share it with you.
That is right. Welcome back to the channel. This is our spoiler chat. I've said it so many times, but I just want to make sure. Because there's some stuff to spoil in this movie. There's some twists.
Yeah, actually. Yeah, there are.
Yeah.
And some really good story and character moments and such. Yeah, the hair thing still pisses me off, but we'll get there. We'll get there later.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll get there. Let's start at the beginning. All right. If you're watching this, you've probably seen. Don't pay attention to this. This was supposed to be good, and like from here up, actually, it doesn't look too bad. But we're gonna be making a video on how terrible this cosplay is. But anyways.
Yeah, we neither of us are like master sewers, so we're like, we like to do cosplay stuff, but we bought a cosplay and it's really bad.
It's really bad.
But it's Black Widow.
Oh, that was weird.
I don't know what that was. So Black Widow starts in 1995 in Ohio.
Yes.
Yeah.
And there's a Russian sleeper cell family in the middle of Ohio.
Yeah, which I think is really interesting timing-wise. 1995...
85, sorry.
Oh, was it 85?
It's 85, yeah.
Oh, I thought it was 95. I was 95 is a little late for the Cold War.
No.
And it also puts it like really close to the events of Captain Marvel.
Oh yeah, that would be weird. No. It's 85. Get mad at us in the comments if you want.
No, it's 95.
No, it's 85.
No, because then 21 years later is 2020.
But the movie takes place not in 2020.
The movie takes place in like 2016. Yeah, no, it's 95. No, I am right. It is 95. What are you talking about? So, yeah, because Civil War takes place in 2015, right? So this would have to be 2015, 2016. Are you Googling? Are you trying to find it out? No, it has to be 95.
I swear I read 85. Wait, this says 1991. I'm confused.
Okay, but this also says it was 25 years, but it's 21 years. Like, it literally says 21 years in the thing. This is great content. Hi, welcome to our spoiler chat. No, it's 1995.
Do we start over?
No, the opening... No, we're sticking with this. 1995, because then, like, 2016, that makes sense.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nothing else would make sense. 1985 would mean that, like, Black Widow is, like, 44.
Yeah. Okay,
which I think Scarlett Johansson is, like, 44.
It's like after the Cold War, then.
Well, and it is like right around a very similar time to Captain Marvel, which is interesting.
Yeah, something completely different story.
And honestly, like, the opening kind of had like a Stranger Things vibe, because a lot of our Cold War content are like, ooh, Russian spies in America. That's not really a 90s thing. Like, we had kind of stopped thinking about that in the 90s, so it is a little weird that this took place in the 90s.
Yeah. But anyways, there's a family there. We've got...
And this was wildly confusing because we don't really know a lot about Black Widow's past. And so there was a period at the beginning of the movie where I was like, wait, are they insinuating that Natasha and Yelena are actually the daughters of Melina and the Red Guardian?
Yeah, like I was like, oh, they're actually sisters. Interesting.
But then the twist that, honestly, and it started this movie off really solidly for me. Because the twist moment where they're like, oh yeah, they're Russian spies living in America, I was like, this is awesome. Yeah, this movie is so good.
It sets up the movie well. It definitely gives you the vibe for what to expect moving forward. And I thought the kid actors were great.
Yeah.
It can be tough to find good kid actors. I thought they did a really great job.
Yeah. And then we get the opening credit sequence, which I thought was really dark, but like...
It was so dark.
I kind of loved it. You know what? It is definitely in the 90s because Bill Clinton was in that opening credit sequence.
You're right, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I thought it was a really solid setup. Natasha has been a spy before, puberty. right? Like this is like her life.
Yeah, when they take away Yelena, she's her dad Red Guardian.
Alexei.
Is like no, you'll be fine or whatever. And she's like he was like, you were even younger.
Yeah.
Because she's like, don't take her there, and he was like, you were even younger. And I was like, I'm sorry.
Yeah, you got to train them young. That's what the Spartans did, right?
It's wild.
And that's why Sparta is still around.
Anyways,
weird joke. And then we get through the opening credit sequence and we get to the opening scene of like the main timeline. We are in the present. Natasha is hiding in a bathroom from Thaddeus Thunderbolt Ross, who is still not the Red Hulk, and I will hold that at some point we need to see him become the Red Hulk. Please. We're getting so close to like Dark Avengers or Thunderbolts or something. Just like give me some Red Hulk. I want it. It would be so fun. I don't care.
We might get there eventually.
We're getting Abomination in Shang-Chi, right?
Yeah.
If we're going to get Abomination in Shang-Chi, can we get Red Hulk in Doctor Strange 2? And then Abomination versus Red Hulk versus Hulk, and we have the 3 Hulks? Like, that would be so great.
Look, Marvel likes to play the long game. It might be like...
That's true, they do.
A few years.
We haven't seen Abomination in, 14 years? And he's going to be... Or 13 years, and he's going to be in Shang-Chi.
Surprise.
Yeah, because... Invincible... Or Incredible Iron Man was... Incredible Iron Man. The Hulk movie. Incredible Hulk was 2008.
Incredible Iron Man.
The Incredible Iron Man. They came out in the same year. They came out... That's crazy. Hulk and Iron Man came out 3 months... Not Hulk, but Incredible Hulk and Iron Man came out 3 months apart. But
yeah.
I always think that Hulk was the next year. But
anyways, Black Widow
is in the bathroom. But her suit in a different bathroom. Black Widow's actually in Norway. Ha ha! Gotcha again, Thaddeus.
Hey.
Idiot.
Yeah, it's like... You're like, they tried to track Black Widow? Like,
well, and he's like, yeah, her tracker's gone offline. I'm like, you think she didn't know about the tracker?
Yeah.
What are you doing? It's in her belt. Like, it's not like you it's not like they had like an informant slip it in there.
No, and it's literally like
She's
flashing.
Black Widow.
If she took her belt off, she'd be like, what's this flashing light? It's like, okay, fine, whatever.
Yeah, no, she just casually kept wearing a tracker that she would have been aware of for...
Yeah. But anyway, so she is in a trailer. Her buddy is asleep in her trailer. Just like waiting for her, I guess. Taking a nap.
I guess it's like his trailer, right? Like she's moving into his trailer in Norway.
Is it his trailer?
He's providing it for her.
Right, I guess.
And that's the first time she's been there, we find out, right? So she meets up with Mason, I think is his name. And I loved him and wanted him in more of the movie. He's so charming.
Yeah, he was great.
That was a fun character. I kind of want like a Disney Plus series that is following him interacting with different like superheroes and spies.
Yeah.
And like it's the story of how he provides things for people. I think it'd be really fun. He as a character, he's like...
That would be fantastic.
I liked every scene he was in. I really enjoyed him as a character.
Yeah. No, yeah. He was great. I loved, I love that actor. I'd never seen him before, but was into it, so.
Yeah, I liked, especially his line where he's like, that's how friendship works. And she's like, I have friends. His like, people don't call me if they have friends was really, really well done.
It was fantastic.
But he brings along a box. And this box, we've seen it moments before in, I don't know where they were. But Yelena Belova is introduced. She is the next Black Widow. Another Black Widow, but it is the young sister that we meet in the opening scene. She has grown up to be the same kind of assassin, and she's on the hunt of an older former Black Widow.
Yeah, who...
This movie has so many Black Widows. Like, almost every woman speaking character in this film. Actually, I think every female speaking character in this movie is a Black Widow.
Yeah. Or
is a widow. Scarlett Johansson might be Black Widow and everyone else is just a widow? Because I don't think anyone else is referred to as a Black Widow.
Oh, okay, interesting. Yeah, widow is such a weird thing to... Okay, yeah, I get it. Maybe they just abbreviated it.
I'm trying to think if there are any, like, female characters who speak who aren't widows, but I don't think there are.
No, I don't think so.
Weird. They're tracking this former widow who has developed a serum that unlocks the ganglia of your brain so that if your brain has been surgically made to follow commands, it doesn't anymore.
Yeah, basically it's a magic spore thing that poofs in your face and you gain your brain power back.
Okay, as a MacGuffin, how did you feel about this?
Well, look, okay, if you introduce the idea of mind control, you know, first you begin with manipulation, and then you begin with brainwashing, and then you move on, and you actually chemically or physically alter the brain. Science, I don't know. You need to have a way, especially for like a Disney movie, that it can be undone or reversed. And I think, sure, having a like chemical that's created is
that makes your eyes do the Scarlet Witch thing.
Yeah, I mean that was like it's cool.
The MCU, I know like people are talking about this already. I saw a really great TikTok about it, but the MCU loves the like quick flashy color change eye thing.
Yeah, it's fun. Yeah. I kind of love it. But look, if that's the idea that you're going with, you have to have some way of resolution for a like not R-rated movie.
It isn't like drilling into the skull to remove something.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, okay, fine. Sure, I have no problem with it. It's a little, like, easy. But also, the movie was already 2 hours, 15 minutes. I wouldn't have wanted to go into this convoluted way to try and save everybody.
I didn't mind the way to undo it so much as I didn't really understand what the mind control was. Because at times it felt...
Well, okay, you know how you can do, like, a lobotomy on somebody and make them more, like, docile, right? I'm assuming it's something like that.
I just mean that when we're seeing Melina work with the pigs, she has, like, scales, and she's like, turn off the respiratory system, turn off this. Whereas this, like, it seemed to be a mix of, like, suggesting someone to do something, and they do it, while also being fully in control of their body. And I didn't, like, it just felt like it was two different kinds of mind control that flipped between the two ideas. And the reason for that was Yelena and Black Widow end up together because in Budapest, the famous Budapest we've been hearing about since the first Avengers movie.
Yeah, they said Budapest like 16 times, and I was like, okay, we get it.
Well, because it's everyone wants to know what happened in Budapest, and we finally know Black Widow killed a little girl to get out of the Black Widows, and, like, that's dark and jeez. And we'll get to that little girl later because you've seen the movie, because this is a spoiler chat.
Yes.
And you know what I'm talking about. But in that fight, a Black Widow falls like 10 stories and is very, very hurt, has broken her leg, as we see from the, like, readout on Dreykov's panel. And Black Widow also falls those 10 stories, but because she hit metal on the way down, she's fine.
Yeah.
Black Widow is an invincible ragdoll at a couple of moments in this movie, and it's fine.
Yeah, you just kind of have to roll with it. You're like, you'd be dead, but okay, sure.
This movie takes place within, like, 48 hours, so the number of injuries she sustains is kind of insane.
Like, will she survive? We don't know.
But that Widow is lying on the ground and is like, I don't want to do this. And so it doesn't seem like she's fully in control, but then Dreykov hits, like, a button that's like, kill yourself, and she knows how to... And, like, she, like, does the thing with her arm, but, like, the rest of her body is, like, screaming, I don't want to do this. It's just her arm. So it's like he's, like, controlling that motion specifically. No, it's definitely her brain. It's just that, like...
It seemed like in that moment, at least, it was the, like, gauntlet thingy.
Well, no, it had to be mind control, right?
Sure. Yeah. I'm just saying that the way that they did it...
But I was
not clear.
I didn't understand her being aware of the fact that she didn't want to do it, but doing it anyway made the mind control of it all just slightly confusing for me. Because I was like, okay, so, like, either she's aware and he's controlling her body, but her brain doesn't want to do it, or she isn't fully aware, or maybe it was the fall that, like, snapped part of her brain out of it.
I mean, look, like, it could have been the fall damage and some kind of a concussion, like... either, because here's the thing, I'm assuming it's some kind of, like, inhibitor or thing that's placed in, because as soon as you start taking away and snipping from the brain, there's that, like, docile kind of, like, nothing, like, blasé that happens, and so I'm assuming it's, like, an extra additive thing for the control, and so maybe it adjusted that, but it does not go into detail. We don't get any answers. You're never gonna know.
They also, one of the things I found slightly disappointing about the chemical agent that they had is that they have these fights with the widows, and they have the chemical agent, but they never like work. They until the very end when they drop the bomb and like they do all of the widows who are on the flying red room at once. They don't in any of those fights just like they're like really close to that one widow and they don't just like shoot. They don't just like spritz her.
When would they have had an opportunity for any of the widows? There's like a
at any point they're running on the roofs and there's the one chasing them, right? If they just turned around and 2-on-1'd and spritzed her, they could have had a third widow. Like they could have spent that entire sequence collecting widows.
But I don't think that they would have believed they had the time. They have a whole pack after them. If they had turned around, like another 2 or 10 could have shown up at any moment. I'm just saying
that widow didn't need to die. They were like literally holding on to the spear to get the big pillar together. Like
they were swinging off a pillar.
I'm just saying. At no point did this movie try and use the stuff prior to when they use all of it at once.
I guess, although, like from my point of view, I didn't see a good opportunity to.
Okay, within the comments of the movie, yeah.
Like it never occurred to me. I'm like, wait, you had a moment there. Why didn't you?
That's fair.
Spritzer or whatever you want to call it.
I think what I'm getting at with this is I think that there's a lot of like potential things that this movie could have done that it didn't, and this goes to Taskmaster as well.
Yeah.
Like this movie just kind of introduces a bunch of fun concepts, but it never plays with them in a way that
it's kind of like a half-baked feeling for certain points of it.
Yeah, and not for the big stuff. And this is something that's interesting, right? I think the big stuff in this movie really works. Mm-hmm. It's sort of like the fringe stuff around it.
Yeah.
That's just a little bit like, okay, like that could have been more fun, but you decided to just kind of do normal stuff with it.
Well, and that's why this movie didn't wow me. Which I said in the spoiler chat. I think it's a good movie and I enjoyed it, but it did not wow me because I don't think it really dove into what made this movie cool.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
It was a little bit half-baked for certain things. I honestly think that the highlight of this movie, like the best part of it, was the actors and was Florence Pugh.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Florence Pugh's a star.
Yeah.
Florence Pugh's Yelena Belova.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is going to be sticking around the MCU. There's no way they're letting go of her.
No, she's fantastic.
Phenomenal. Like they're gonna back that money truck up.
Yeah.
To keep her because you've lost Scott Johansson. There aren't a lot of like female characters left in the MCU. Female leads.
Let's fix that.
So, like, they're going to want to have a Black Widow in whatever the next Avengers is, whether it's the Dark Avengers or the New Avengers or whatever. Yelena Belova's great. Florence Pugh is remarkable in this film.
Yeah.
Like, and honestly, in a lot of ways, this is more her film. Like, this is more her story. She has the furthest to go emotionally, especially in relationship with her family. Mm-hmm. When we finally get to the dinner table scene that I think is the best scene in the whole movie, when Melina... Alexei and Natasha and Yelena sit down together, she has a line where she's like, the best part of my life was fake and none of you told me, because she was too young to understand, and everyone else in those opening scenes knew that they were Russian spies, and she was the one person who didn't. And that really, like, the way she delivered that line was so deep and heartbreaking, and I really, really, I loved that scene. I loved it so much.
Well, because if they were there for 3 years, she would have been 3 years old.
Yeah, and like, you can't tell a 4-year-old that they're a Russian spy.
No.
I mean, you could, because no one would believe them. People would think they're, it's a 4-year-old saying they're a Russian spy, like, whatever. Yeah. I said weirder shit than that when I was that age, but...
Yeah.
I don't know. I love her. Florence Pugh, I really want a sequel. I want a Black Widow 2 starring Florence Pugh, Melina, or Rachel Weisz, and David Harbour. I want the three of them... bring back Mason as like they're like man in chair kind of guy. They're like international fixer. I think that there's a lot of potential for like a Black Widow something in the future.
Yeah.
I think of that mostly because I think Florence Pugh really in terms of introducing a new hero to the MCU, I feel like this movie did a really good job at being an origin story for Black Widow 2, right? For the new Black Widow. And it really functioned really nicely as a passing of the torch between Scarlett Johansson and her.
Well, yeah, and they had some really wonderful moments.
Yeah.
Going back to where we were in the plot, they meet up, they're chased by widows, they have to get out of the situation together. And, you know, they have a fight scene.
Florence Pugh gets thrown through a door frame, and I was like, that hurt my back.
Yeah, it looked fantastic.
I'm too old to watch that happen. Oh.
But, you know, they have a really incredible arc that they go through.
Yeah.
And, you know, they escape together. Yelena's like, you didn't contact me, like, why now?
Yeah.
ScarJo finds out about the serum and what's going on, you know, because she sincerely believes that Dreykov is dead. That's his name, right? Yeah, she sincerely believes that he's dead.
How does she not know about this is the thing about the movie that I'm really curious about, right? How does she not know the Black Widows are still around?
I don't know. Like,
the movie kind of is like, well, you just assumed it and you moved on and you never checked in on any of us. And I'm like, yeah, how did you do that? Like, how was that not a concern? If I was trying to make sure that this thing died, I would have at least...
You would follow up.
Yeah.
You would follow up. Yeah.
Like, I guess she was busy saving the world from aliens. So, there was stuff going on. I'm not saying there wasn't.
Sure. But also, like...
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. You would think... I don't know. You would think.
But Yelena Belova, like, calls her out at the gas station. She's like, why didn't you ever check in? And I'm like, you know what? That's kind of a good point. Like,
it is a good point. And, like, you know, they reconcile, and I think it's really awesome.
They never reconcile Scarlett Johansson's posing, though. I wanted one joke at the end. And we kind of get it, because Florence Pugh does kind of, like, do the landing pose once. And I was like, oh, I feel like, gross.
Yeah.
But, you know, we never got, like, I wanted, like, one joke at the end between them. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, this movie makes fun of the fact that Scarlett Johansson was portraying Black Widow in a sexy way a lot. They call it out.
I love it. I think it's fun. I think it's a fun little, like, extra...
Yeah, it's what happens when a woman is put at the helm of a movie about women. They call out all the shit from the movie that were written and directed by men.
Hey! Let's keep doing that. So they pair up and go break out Alexei from... this prison in the middle of, like, a mountain range.
Which doesn't make any sense.
No, I don't know how you get supplies.
No, that makes sense. That's where the gulag would be. But what doesn't make sense about it is... So, this was weird to me. In the scene before that, Yelena is like, we don't know where the Red Room is because it is constantly moving. And so their first thought is to go break out Alexei, who's been in prison for, like, 20 years? And, like, I don't know why they think that he would even know. And then they're surprised when he doesn't know. And he's like, I've been in prison for, like, 20... I mean, like, he gives the most...
that surprised. You know...
They're very upset. They're like, tell us where the Red Room is. And he's like, I don't know. And they're like, well, that was kind of our whole plan. And, like, they don't think to go after Melina because they think that she's dead. Yeah. But they're like, well... Damn it, what are we going to do now? And I'm like, you thought that the guy who was in prison was going to know... Why would he know that?
Yeah, I mean, that was definitely like a last-ditch effort kind of...
It wasn't a last-ditch effort. It was the first thing they tried.
Okay, but what else would they have tried before that?
I don't know, but like...
I think the sequence of events makes sense.
Florence Pugh has been is like, the fact that they didn't... Florence Pugh is more directly connected to the modern Red Room than Alexei is.
Sure.
Why would they assume that the guy's been in prison for the last 20 years?
Yelena is a pawn. And, like, look, I think that, like... I think...
I'm sorry. No. I'm going to push back on that. Yelena has been in the Red Room that is flying in the sky for years. And yes, they sedate her coming in and out. They sedate her coming in and out. But you're telling me that she doesn't know that it is flying? How? How is that possible?
The engines are really quiet.
It's not possible. You would know that thing is in the air. Or at least, no, you would know it's in the air because it doesn't feel like it's at sea. And it is very clearly a ship. And so, like, the fact, them playing it off as this thing that's like, oh yeah, I don't know where it is.
But has it always been a ship? If it's always moving, it may not have always been that
that's
ship.
Interesting.
Like, I don't... That ship is very modern.
Melina insinuates that it has been.
I guess, but
it's not any more modern than anything else in the MCU from 10 years ago. It's not any more modern than Avengers Tower from 2012, right?
Yeah, okay. That's fair.
Although this movie takes place in 2016, so...
I was just thinking that, like...
Yelena not knowing that it was a ship was weird.
Well, because here's the thing. That ship would have had to have been built, like, 30 plus years before
No. The ship is new.
No, I'm saying if the Red Room has always been the Red Room.
No, the Red Room has not always been on the ship.
That's what I mean.
But the Red Room that Yelena is trying to take down has been the ship for a while.
But how do you know when Yelena was a widow that it was on the ship?
Because it was like 4 days ago. She's a widow at the beginning of this movie. In the scene when she first gets sprayed, that's like 3 days before she meets up with Scarlett Johansson, right? Within a week at least, right? So she's been like the Red Room she's been on that ship many times. For her to not understand that it's a ship is I don't know, I was just kind of like.
Here's the thing though, we don't know the last time she was at the Red Room, and they have like hundreds of widows that are just around the globe doing stuff.
No, but she's been on that ship. There's no way she doesn't know that. Yeah.
No, but and then you throw in the whole like mind control thing, and it's like, well, would she like
but
how
she says
much
she's
awareness
fully aware.
Does she have?
She says she's fully aware, but she doesn't know which parts of her are being controlled.
I thought she said that was how she felt right now.
No. She says she still can't tell the difference, but that when she was being mind controlled, she was fully aware.
Weird.
Yeah, so I guess like I just like the plan to go get Alexei is to get Red Guardian, and I get that, but them thinking that he's not really all that helpful.
No.
He doesn't bring any information to the mission. He brings a lot of emotional like catharsis for them because they have to get over their childhood trauma and their daddy issues, and he brings a lot of comedy to the movie, and David Harbour is brilliant.
Yeah.
But then breaking him out of prison for the reason. If they broke him out of prison because they were like, a super soldier would probably be super helpful and I can't call Steve because I don't know why. I don't know why they couldn't call Steve. He's also on the run, and we thought that he was on the run with Black Widow. Anyway, doesn't matter. They could have, it seems to me like they could have called Steve, and this is the kind of thing that you would call Steve for, but it's fine. They break him out for the reason of his knowledge that they think that he would have, even though there's no reason for him to have it.
Yeah. But I just don't know. Okay, so if they're like, we need to find the Red Room, where would you start then?
I would start with like people who haven't been in prison for 20 years.
Like who?
I don't know.
The only point I'm trying to make is like, look, it's not surprising he doesn't know where it is, and they seem upset he doesn't know, but they didn't seem too surprised. I think it's like very like reasonable to think that like, yeah, this guy is gonna be like, there's a 0.001% chance, and it's not gonna happen, right? But as far as their connections to him, how many other options do they have?
I guess they don't. I think part of the problem for me with this moment in particular is that we also don't, like, the audience is never given a reason to think that Melina's dead.
Well, so other than she got shot and then flew in a plane for, like, what? I don't know. Is it 12 hours to Russia? Like,
well, but even in that scene, they say she's going to be fine. Like, they land, and it's like, how's Melina? And he's like, she's going to be fine. She's strong. Like, it's not even like on the tarmac, someone's like, oh, she died. Like, the last thing the girls hear.
He hasn't seen her wounds. He literally just says that to say that because he doesn't give a shit.
I know, but what I'm saying is, like, there's no reason for the audience to assume she died, right? She gets into medical care while she's still alive, and they don't show her dead. We don't know why the widows think that she's dead.
Yeah.
Like, and also, like, she works for the widow program that they're both in for their whole lives. So, like, I don't really know why they thought she was dead. It's not like she wasn't around.
Well, I don't know.
She's designed
like, doing
everything.
Her, like, remote research.
Well, yeah, but she designed the Red Room. She designed the cells on it, at least. So I'm assuming she designed other parts of it. So I just, like, there's aspects of this movie that I'm like, if they were both in the Red Room program for at least a decade and a half.
Yeah.
Right? Yelena's been in the Red Room program for the entire 2 decades between the opening scene and the end. Melina helps run that. I don't know why they would assume she's dead. I don't, like, it's weird to me that they were told that she was dead. Like, all of that is, like, convenient so that it just feels convenient because they're like, we need to break Alexei out for the information that he shouldn't have. But he has the information that Melina's alive that we don't have for some reason so that we can get to Melina. And then everything from them getting... It's just this weird chunk of the movie where there's a great action sequence.
That's fair.
There's a lot of convenient, like, who knows what that doesn't make a lot of sense to me. And then once they get to Melina's house to the end, I feel like is really strong narratively.
Yeah.
It's just kind of the, like, how they get to Melina's house and why they go through the steps that they go through that I was like, why that to that to that to that?
Yeah, that's fair. It's It is a little bit kind of, what do you call it, shoehorny to try to get everybody into the...
Well, to get Red Guardian in.
Yeah.
And I get that because he's great. And David Harbour is so good in the role.
And worth it. Honestly, worth it.
Worth it for that dinner scene. That dinner scene is remarkable.
Yeah.
But it was weird. I was kind of just like, why? Okay, why?
They also, like, fully murdered a whole prison of Russian...
They show everybody getting inside before the avalanche hits. They do. I noticed because they cut away from the helicopter escaping a couple of times to be like, we're gonna pan just so that you know everybody made it inside. They didn't kill. It was like very intentional, and it felt like the only purpose for those shots was for us to believe that like no one died accidentally.
Okay, but here's the thing. I'm supposed to believe that those structures can withstand an avalanche?
Yeah, babe, that's a Russian prison. Nothing's getting in there.
I don't know. Literally, I was like, oh, everybody died.
Nothing is getting in there.
Yeah, okay, sure.
Yeah, they're fine. Those prisoners are going to be cold, but they're Russian, okay? They're going to drink some vodka. They're going to tattoo each other while they arm wrestle.
Yeah, that was silly.
I get they're trying to show that he has superpowers and he's super strong, but he's still moving. Like, the tattoo gun is still going to be...
It was like, God, like, you know, it's like when you're like trying to like get your hair like probably like beard cut at the barber, you can't like turn and talk. You know what I mean? Like this is just not how it works.
Anyone who's gotten a tattoo knows you have to be very still.
Yeah, and he was trying to do like a face in like the middle of a centerpiece. I was like, okay, sure, fine, whatever.
I loved that they got the earpiece to the Red Guardian through an action figure of the Red Guardian. I was like, that is so funny.
That was very funny. Well done.
But it also implies that like the Red Guardian was popular enough that there were action figures of him before Iron Man when people didn't know about superheroes, and I'm very confused about that now. Right. There were no publicly known superheroes before Iron Man because Captain America was a myth. Right? Captain America was a myth.
Uh-huh.
That people like were like, oh yeah, he did the USO shows to like sell bonds, but like everything about him's classified. No one knows about him. But you're telling me that in Russia, they made toys. I'm really confused about this timeline of this. Right? It's a cool. I love the toy, but I'm also kind of like, wait, so have people in the MCU just always been aware of superheroes and then acted surprised when Iron Man showed up for no reason?
Yeah.
They keep shooting. Here's the thing. And this happens to Star Wars. This happens to all these franchises that have to go on for a long time. They keep adding backstory that adds more and more. It's like it's the same thing's happening with Star Wars and Jedi who survived Order 66. They just keep adding more Jedi who survived Order 66.
Yeah.
The MCU is starting to add more and more superheroes who existed before Iron Man 1. So much so that the Avengers shouldn't be a surprise because people be like, oh no, I have action figures of Red Guardian and Captain America.
Yeah.
And Wasp and Ant-Man and Captain Marvel from the 90s. Do you remember when the aliens attacked in the 90s? And like, it's just starting to get to the point where there's like, okay, yeah, I guess there were a bunch of superheroes before Iron Man and whatever. It's fine.
Yeah, it's fine.
It fits the emotional storytelling of the current movie, so we'll just...
Yeah, the moment was great, but you can't think about it too much because otherwise it's a rabbit hole you don't need to go down.
But saying that, I want more Red Guardian.
Oh, it was great. Yeah. Fantastic.
Also, there was a theory I saw on TikTok, and I want to bring it up, that, you know how he keeps bringing up that he fought Captain America, but that Captain America was on ice when he says he did that? But Elias from... remember how Elias has the scene where he's in Falcon the Winter Soldier, he's talking about how he was pretended to be Cap from it, and that's why he went to prison? Was because he took up the shield to save his, like, troops? What if that's the Captain America that Red Guardian fought?
You would think he would notice if it was a black man, though.
Why? He doesn't know who Captain America is.
Well, I guess, but he's been, like... I'm
if he
sure
fought another super soldier in the Captain America suit, and he's in his suit, and he's just like, yeah, I fought Captain America. That would be so cool.
But okay, but
I don't think time-wise it works,
but... you would notice if he was a black guy or a white guy, because look, if he knows everything Natasha has been up to in prison, that she's a part of the Avengers, he's obviously seen the Avengers, he knows what Captain America looks like. But that's assuming that we think that there's one Captain America. He might know that it's a different, like, he might just be like, I fought the Captain America of the time or whatever. Maybe. I don't know. All I'm saying is it was a cool idea, and I was like, I want the flashback of Elias Captain America versus Red Guardian Captain America. I think that'd be a really great fight scene. That would be fun. I want more Elias. I just want more Elias. I would suspend my disbelief for that. that would be cool.
Yeah.
So we get to the dinner scene.
Oh God, we're only at the dinner scene. Jeez.
I know. We mentioned several times. It's great.
It's so good.
We talked about the moments in it, I think, already. And then we get to the point where Yelena gets upset, leaves, and has a moment with Red Guardian.
And then Red Guardian talks about how his dad peed on his hands so he didn't get hypothermia.
That was weird.
It was great joke.
Oh, it was great. But
he went toilet on my hands.
So weird.
Urine is 35 degrees Celsius. It's like, technically all true.
All right. She's like, why are you telling me this? I was like, girl, I feel you.
I'm so glad my father never peed on me.
Yeah, that's weird. So then Natasha and Melina have a moment, and they connect and, look at the, photo album that they did a photo shoot day of. They were like, she's like, we shot Thanksgiving, Easter, Christmas all in one day or whatever. And I was like,
which is from the opening credits, which I liked. I like that they brought that back up.
Yeah, no, it was very funny. And so Melina, spoiler alert, it seems as though Melina has betrayed them, and they get taken off to the Red Room, when in reality, Melina and Black Widow have kind of come up with this plan together, to get everybody to the Black Room, because not the Black Room, sorry, the Red Room.
Yeah.
Too many colors. And which I thought was a good twist, because I was like, oh no, Melina, no. The thing that I need to bring up that bothers me.
Get ready. We're going down a rabbit hole that you won't care about.
I care. Okay.
Oh, I know. I didn't say that you won't care about.
So we see Melina. And Melina has this perfect wig prep already on. This intricate, I don't know, looks like...
That is not wig prep. It's just a braid.
Yeah, and it's braided around her head. It is the perfect wig prep. I'm telling you. Look, it's not the pin curls, but as far as braids go, it's a great. Anyways, there's 4 to 6 different braids in there, going around her head, and she has a lot of hair. She's got longer, thicker hair or whatever. And then, so that's the hairstyle she has at the dinner scene. And then they get on the plane to the Red Room, and was it on the plane? Yeah, she's got this ponytail.
That's not Melina.
No, but that's
Natasha wearing a wig.
Yes, I know. So we see Melina with this ponytail in, which I at first was like, wait a second, you're telling me she stopped for 10 minutes to undo all those braids and put her hair in a ponytail? I was like, that seems kind of weird. Turns out it's Natasha in a wig, because that's part of their plan to infiltrate the Red Room. I'm like, okay, cool. Totally. I love that. I love that. And then Melina takes off her Natasha wig, and it's this voluminous ponytail underneath, and I was like, why? Why would you do that? This is so silly. She had this perfect little braid. You're telling me she took the time to take her hair out of her wig prep and put it into a ponytail so that she could put on a wig. And I'm telling you, that pony, I have worn wigs, that pony would not fit under a wig. There is absolutely no way. Anyways.
Yeah, I said you probably wouldn't care about that, so...
I care. It's details like that. That would have made me so happy.
Okay. But let's if you really want to get into this, do you really want every time someone takes a wig off in a movie for them to be wearing a wig cap underneath?
No, I don't care about the wig cap.
So you want people to be walking around in pin curls for the rest of the movie?
It was not pin curls, it was braids. They set up her hairstyle with this really nice braid tied against her head, and I was like, that makes so much sense. That's so perfect. And then she took off the Scarlett Johansson wig, and it was a ponytail. And I was like, wait, why? That makes no sense.
I do want to say, I love that they brought back the face peel changer technology from Winter Soldier.
Yeah, that was fun.
It was fun. That was a nice twist.
It was, it was good. I was like, wait, where is this going? But I really enjoyed it. Look, all I'm saying is if her hair was in a ponytail the entire time, I would not have noticed. I would not have noticed, and it wouldn't have mattered. But the fact that her hairstyle was different at dinner than it was for the rest of the movie, I was like, why? You didn't need to do that.
Not gonna lie, it did bug me.
Of course it
didn't care all that much.
Men, am I right?
I know it's not. That's not a gender thing. I'm like,
I know.
If their hair changes between it happens.
Those braids would have taken several minutes to get out. Time is of the essence. All right.
They might have had time. You don't know. Red Guardian and Elena might have been talking for a while.
No,
that
she was
story
like,
about
they're
the
gonna
pee
be
was a
here
long
in
time,
few
right?
minutes.
Yeah.
She literally is like, they will be here. No, she's like, they'll be here any minute.
Yeah, and then
you are pressed for time. You are not going to take those braids out of your hair. I'm sorry.
I think the thing I want to talk about that scene that actually matters is...
It matters.
That Melina fully changes her mind about her, like, worldview in the moments because she spends it with her daughters.
Okay, fine. Yes, the character development is more important.
I love that she rats on them at the beginning of them being there.
Yeah.
And then has a conversation with them about their past and about the trauma that they all share and all of that stuff. And it genuinely changes her, and she makes a different decision at the end.
Yeah, well, because she finds out that those mind control widows were, like, Yelena was one of them a few days ago. I
just love that kind of care, and I love when characters, especially villainous characters, have a real reason to go good. And I felt like they sold that really well, and I felt like the movie did a very good job of convincing me that character would have a change of heart there. And it felt real. It didn't feel forced. And I don't know, I just, that was like, everything in Melina's house is the highlight of the movie for me. That's the best of this movie. There's no action, there's none of that. It's really just conversation between characters about their trauma and about their experience and about this idea of family and what does it mean to be family and to be found family and how do you decide to be family. And I feel like they all decide to be family by the end of that scene in a way that I just was really touched by, and I thought, you know, I genuinely was like, wow, this is really, really cool. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that was the highlight scene of the movie for sure.
But then we go to the helicarrier.
Yep.
Not the helicarrier, but we go to the
red
space station that's not a space station.
Yeah. It's, yeah.
I also loved, we were talking about it, and during the movie you were like, oh, because it's, you know, it starts to fall. You guys have seen the movie, you know what happens in it. It starts to fall, and you're like, I hope it's not above a city. And I was like, if it was above a city, it wouldn't be that hard to find.
Yeah, it's like,
the people would just look up and see it. It's in the middle of, we know it's in the middle of nowhere because it's a giant floating thing, babe.
Yeah, okay, it's in the middle of nowhere, but then the fucking U.S. agents show up at the end of it, and I was like, wow, they got there real quick.
Because Black Widow turns on her tracker. They say it in the movie. She's like, I'm turning on my tracker.
But they're not there for that long. Oh, well, no, she turns it on before they fly there.
I'm assuming, yeah.
Yeah, she must have turned it on before they flew there, because otherwise, I'm like, he's speedy, like...
Yeah.
Anyways.
That is Thunderbolt Ross, okay? He moves like a thunderbolt. That's why it's his name. He's fast.
What did you think about the whole, like, pheromone thing where the guy couldn't be, like, hurt by the widows?
I don't hate the idea of it. I hate hearing the word pheromone multiple times from a man who's really close to a woman's face.
Yeah.
They shoot that scene where he's, like, leaning over her in such proximity, and he keeps using the word pheromones, and I just...
Like,
I didn't like that.
It was icky.
I did not... And like, I appreciated that it made me hate him, and, like, as a villain, I actually felt like he was a decent villain.
Oh, yeah, I hated him.
And also, like, his motivations were very unclear, but, like, his idea of his power structure was very clear, and so it worked for me. I kind of wish I knew what he wanted.
I
would have been a little bit interested.
Very insecure man who was looking for more power.
But power to do what? Like, the problem I had with it is that at no point in this movie do we ever see the widows actually do anything. The only mission we see the widows on is to go get the vials. So that's even about his power. Mm-hmm. We don't actually, like, he's like, I have control over everything. And I'm like, okay, what do you... But, okay.
Yeah, but what...
You don't seem to be doing anything with it.
Yeah, yeah. Those stakes are not as high as I think that they could have been. I wish that they had... I wish that there had been some kind of reference to maybe, like, a tragedy that was, like, his doing or something. Yeah. Something to make us really feel the scale. Because, look, I think the point is to feel more for the widows, the women who are being controlled against their will. And I appreciated that. Mm-hmm. But when you do have Marvel movies, things tend to be on a grand global scale, and I think that they could have at least included a line or two about what his power and influence actually meant and how dangerous he actually was to society.
Yeah, because we only hear it from him. Yeah, like we only hear, like, what he can do from him, and kind of from Melina, but even most of her lines are about how he can control the widows.
Yeah,
and I'm just like, if you had this mind control technology, I just feel like it's one of those things where I'm like, it's never, it doesn't, the mind control technology doesn't really factor into the end of the movie very much, other than it being undone. We don't see him he pulls up the screen to show a bunch of widows, and I expected him to be like, watch, right now I can, have her murder that man, and Natasha tries to stop him but can't, and so this guy dies on screen, and maybe that's a little dark for this movie, but I just expected the mind control to be a part of the finale, and it kind of isn't. It's talked about in the finale, and it's referenced, and it is it's brought to its end, but it doesn't factor into the finale very much.
Yeah.
And so there's just a lot of elements of once they're kind of on the ship, it kind of is just Natasha and him talking. The plan is executed pretty well. The thing crashes.
Two of them together.
Oh yeah, the scene's great.
The scene, but yeah, there was something missing.
It's just acting, and it's really, really good acting. Yeah. And it just felt a little underwhelming. And then the Taskmaster fight at the end was just very short and didn't.
It's also underwhelming.
Yeah, the action. So it's the weird thing about the movie is the best action in this movie is in the first half, but the best action is in the first half, and then the acting throughout the second half from Melina's house to the end is all fantastic and character-y and awesome, but the action dips a little bit, and I don't
know if the action dips a little bit. I think the fighting, it's tough for me because the action of the thing falling, I don't know, I thought was cool and well done, and that whole sequence of this thing falling, getting off, and everyone trying to escape.
I just kind of the way that the action sequence was built didn't feel like it was about the unique abilities of these characters, and that's when action is the most interesting to me, is when I'm like, what can this character do in this moment? And
and I think that if Taskmaster had been more utilized, we would have had that feeling more at the end.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Because that fight, I was ready to watch Taskmaster completely change fighting styles. Them fighting Natasha, was so cool. I was like, oh, this is going to be a huge shift over to Red Guardian, because he obviously has a completely different fighting style. And it wasn't different enough. It wasn't enough. They, I was just kind of oh, it's a fight, they're fighting, that's fine.
Well, and I was so disappointed in the moment where Taskmaster does the Black Panther claws, and we know that Taskmaster has vibranium claws in his suit, right? He literally has Black Panther's vibranium claws.
Yeah.
They make such a big deal of the shot where he puts them out, and then we never see him hit Red Guardian with them.
No, and they don't matter.
I was like, why do the shot? Why do this? Unless I guess it's for the trailer, or and it's totally possible that they do have that shot, but they had to cut the blood out of the shot. He scratches Red Guardian, and it looks weird that the blood can't be in the shot because it's PG-13, and so they just cut it. And maybe it's deleted stuff. Maybe that fight is more complicated in its original form, and they had to cut it for the rating.
Right.
But I saw that he puts the nails out, and then he doesn't do anything with them. I thought he was gonna go full Black Panther there and fight T'Challa, and he doesn't. And I was like, okay, that's cool. And then the falling out of the sky is an impressive set piece, but Black Widow and Taskmaster aren't doing anything in it.
Yeah.
They're just falling, and then they land, and it's kind of a quick fight to the end there that isn't particularly different from their first fight. I don't know. That was the stuff that I was like, okay, you haven't shown me why this fight needs to be these two characters in either of those two fights. Yeah. Whereas the first fight on the bridge between Taskmaster and Black Widow is fantastic.
Yeah, it's
I
great.
really liked it. It was tense. It was scary. The introduction of Taskmaster in that scene was genuinely frightening. And I was like, oh, this is a really cool, dark villain that you're scared of. And then throughout the rest of the movie, every time you saw him, you got less and less frightening. And then we find out that it's
not even a he, it's Dreykov's daughter.
Which is what I mean about the action is less important than the character development. The character development of Natasha having to come face to face with the girl that she has been grieving the fact that she killed and that she's felt guilt over is a great story choice that I love.
Fantastic.
I love, and so again, it's a moment where I'm like, I love the character development, talky action stuff more than I love the action in the second half.
Yes.
And that stuff is just handled really well, and I'm not disappointed in the movie in any way. There's action I wish I liked more, but I think that the emotional core of the movie and the emotional storytelling is so strong that I'm willing to forgive the stuff that I'm like, I wish I liked that more. I thought that should have been more fun, because the actual story of this I think is actually really strong.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, and I think that's why my like feelings of the movie generally are like it was good, but it didn't wow me. Just because there were things that felt like either half baked or missed opportunities, or just didn't quite live up to what I wanted them to be.
Yeah.
But there was also some really good stuff as well. So it's like it's a movie that I would watch again.
Oh, 100%. Yeah,
so, like, there are some movies that I'm like, I really like that. Don't know if I'll ever watch it again. This one, I would definitely put back on to see again.
I agree.
And so, I think that that's a testament to the movie. I would say it's pretty decent.
I would really like to, I would go back and I would watch Winter Soldier, Civil War, this, Infinity War, Endgame.
We should do it.
Like, watching those 5 movies, that's a long day, but watching those 5 movies back to back, going from, like, because her stuff before Winter Soldier I don't care about as much. Iron Man 2, like, she's great. In Avengers, she's great. But, like, the emotional arc of Natasha from the beginning of Winter Soldier to the end of Endgame is really kind of, like, the highlight of that character for me. And I think that those 5 movies tell a really cool Black Widow color thing. Really interesting Black Widow story that I'm really interested in.
Yeah.
That's kind of everything, right?
Yeah.
Should we talk about post-credit sequence?
Sure.
And that's something you want to say first.
No, that, as far as the movie itself goes, that is covered. I think we talked about everything we wanted to.
I mean, we've been talking for 50 minutes, so.
Oopsie, sorry. But yeah, the post-credit scene was very interesting. Very interesting. We were talking about how it seems like they're setting up this Dark Avengers and who would be on it. U.S. Agent, Black Widow #2, possibly Taskmaster.
I think what I loved about this post-credit sequence is that I wouldn't have liked it as much prior to Captain America Winter Soldier when this was supposed to come out.
Yeah.
I enjoy this post-credit sequence so much more because it came after seeing Valentina with U.S. Agent and knowing that she's a little bit more sinister, darker. Because if she had just popped up in this, it would have been a little bit weirder.
I wonder if this post-credit sequence was added.
No, it was
recently.
Not.
You're sure?
Yeah, she was supposed to appear in Black Widow first, and then appear in Falcon the Winter Soldier.
Okay, that's definitely a bit more weird because I really enjoyed I thought that it was done on purpose, and that we already had that kind of bad vibes.
No, this was going to be her first appearance in the MCU.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And like all we got was Valentina when she introduced herself to U.S. Agent, we got her full name. We don't really get her full name at the end of this one. But the big reveal that she is sending Black Widow to, which is not what we should call her, but that's what we're calling her for now, to kill Hawkeye. And the reason that's interesting, we've seen Valentina in the in a Marvel Disney Plus TV show. And so it does mean that like these things can Valentina ties those two things together. Yelena Belova, I think she might be the villain of the Hawkeye show. Yeah. And I think that making Black Widow the villain of the Hawkeye show is so brilliant. Yeah. Because the last thing we saw Hawkeye do was lose his best friend Black Widow to save the universe, and then immediately he gets attacked by Black Widow. Like, it's so... That's going to be rich. Rough. It's such good storytelling, and introducing Yelena in this as a character that we absolutely fall in love with. I love her now, and then making her the bad guy of the first 4 probably episodes of Hawkeye until they, get trapped together and they talk. Yeah. It's so good. I really, really, really hope that she's in that show now. Yeah, I want it so bad. I want them to have the catharsis of getting over Natasha's death together, her and Clint. This is the most exciting post-credit sequence we've had in a while from Marvel because of the emotional implications, which is what Black Widow, the movie, is all about. Emotional storytelling. And, I like this movie a lot. Me too. I really do. I liked this movie a lot. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it was good. Thanks for hanging out with us for an hour. Sorry. What?
I like this movie a lot. And you're like, yeah, it was good.
No,
this is how she responds to everything. I'll sing something for her, and I'll be like, what did you think of that? And she'll be like, oh, yeah, it was good. And I'm like, well, I guess I'll never sing again. I think I'll stop being a singer if that's all right with you, babe.
Look, this movie did not wow me. Like I said,
Yeah.
I'd give it a B+. I liked it.
Yeah.
But it didn't make me like, I'm like, wow, this is freaking great. I'm like, yeah, it was good. Honestly, that's how I feel about it.
I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
If you like this video, hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel if you want more hour-long discussions of a single movie. Because that's what we do now. You can also dislike this. If you dislike us, if you want to leave me comments down below, please do.
If you think that David looks like David, let us know in the comments.
If you think I look like David Harbour, please let us know down below. And also follow us over on Twitch. I'm over at twitch.tv/nerdynightly.
I'm over at twitch.tv/clarusdracarys.
I am doing a new thing over there. I'm doing Pokemon mornings. So if you want to come drink your coffee with me while I do my hardcore Nuzlocke of every single Pokemon game, come over 9 a.m. Eastern to the Nerdy Nightly. Most days of the week, I will be live for a couple hours. As always, y'all, my name's Nerdy.
And I'm Clarus.
Do something nerdy tonight. Maybe, I don't know, watch Black Widow. Oh, wait, this is spoiler chat. You've already seen it. Watch this again and like it again on another email address. Bye.